And we're live. I had two viewers. They're both out watching fireworks right now. Happy Independence Day, everyone. It is 4th of July, 2022. And the news is not disappointing. 2022 staying as lit as ever. I'm wearing my, I just got this, my Fuck You No t-shirt with the super rattlesnake on it. It's like it's from the Firearms Policy Coalition. I made a donation, and so they sent me a t-shirt. But welcome to the show. I changed the title of this like right before I started to do it, because I was going to do some other stupid thing, but I decided to do this stupid thing. 4th of July, 2022, and we got a shooter in Chicago. Somebody shot up the Independence Day parade in Chicago. This guy's name was. Let's show what he looks like. Let's show what the dude looks like. Cremo. Yeah, his name was Cremo or something like that. Supposedly, he's been arrested, but I think he's killed 6 and injured 14 as the current count. So this stuff, like I said, only going to get worse. The reality of a situation out of control, and this is done deliberately, partially, but when you see this kid, he is a bug man. He is absolutely a bug man. Supposedly he's Italian, but it's not like any Italian I ever grew up with. He looks absolutely anemic, looks completely, there he is, yeah. So you could see he's got neck tattoos. His neck is like a thin spindle. He's like not a Chad at all. Absolutely 100% bug man. So this was posted a few hours ago. Person of interest. And I was sitting home, and work called me. He's like, "Hey, you want to drive up to Boston?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to drive up to Boston." And I saw the story, and I tweeted this. This was my tweet from 5:45 this afternoon. It's currently 10:30, so we're 5 hours, just about 5 hours ago. Once the story hit the news, the White House responded and said, they're going to have the FBI, local FBI office, help with the police investigation, which means nothing because it's always the local cops that catch these guys. So there's a tweet, FBI Chicago is aware of the situation in Highland Park, Illinois, and has deployed resources to the scene. We encourage the public to report tips to 1-800-CALL-FBI. And I quote tweeted it, and I said, first thing you assholes should do is look through your contact files from 18 months back and see what the shooter's name is. And I think I got like 1 or 2 likes on that tweet. And like 1 or 2 guys, like the guy Mind Control, like the tweet. Then I'm scrolling a little bit, and Twitter does all kinds of fucked up shit with hiding your tweets and hiding other people's tweets. But no lie, this is from, I quote this guy a lot. He keeps changing his screen name. He's now calling himself King. I think King CIA Simulation Warlord or something like that. And this photo I just grabbed off a video. It's like a 30-second video of our friend Richard Cremo in a small boat on a lake somewhere. I don't know if it's Lake Michigan. I don't know if it's Chesapeake Bay, but literally wearing a fucking FBI hat. Like it's him, taking video of himself in a little motorboat and showing the water. And it's like they're letting their little pet ride the boat. You know what I mean? He's getting a boat ride as part of his FBI recruitment. Like this, the reason why I named the stream Right Wing Screenplay Esoteric version is because this story you would think was written by somebody like me. You would think like, oh, it's a right wing fantasy, right? It's right wing fan fiction that all these Antifa types, all these bug men, are recruited by the FBI to do mass shootings. To shoot up anything that seems patriotic, Fourth of July, the Vegas country music thing, whatever. It's the FBI is driving this, and they recruit these guys via their political networking. This kid, Cremo, apparently somebody in his family was in politics or ran for mayor or something like that. There's some kind of in and around that Highland Park area. But yeah, this is not a screenshot. This is the shooter, literally in a fucking FBI hat. And then when I saw this, I thought of my tweet. I was like, holy crap. I tweeted that shit just to shitpost, literally just to shitpost. And now, of course, it turned out to be spot on, So I'm looking like a conspiracy psychic or whatever, I mean, I didn't think you'd get that level of confirmation like that quickly, but we did, So you could expect this story to basically drop off the face of the fucking earth, Here's one more picture of him, and this is the whacked out fantasy life these guys lead, and they're Jonathan Pohl, welcome to the show. Hopefully it is less than 110 degrees or 115 degrees in New Mexico. Yes, you've returned from work. That's good. It's good to work. Sometimes it's also good to not work. So this is the shooter with his whatever. He's tweeting like, you're all sinners, and he's running around with he's got some sort of police or military helmet and like a balaclava thing, because probably given to him by his FBI employers. Jonathan Pohl, we had rain all day. It was pretty cool. Well, hopefully you work in the ice cream section of the place where you are, and not the hot food section. Although I don't know what if they have that out there in faraway New Mexico. But yeah, the fact that literally that's all right. I know where you were. I'm trying to make a show, bro. Literally a right-wing alt fiction screenplay of the bugman to FBI informant to spree shooter pipeline. Like if you wrote that as a screenplay, nobody would believe it. And I just have a feeling that all of the craziest stuff that you ever saw in right-wing anything, the most sarcastic shit, the most insane stuff is going to start happening right in front of your eyes. And you're going to start questioning like, hey, well, hold on. Am I dreaming? Am I on Twitter? Like what's going on? Because it definitely, after I tweeted, hey, FBI, check your contact files from 18 months ago. And then I saw the video with the dude in an FBI hat on the little speedboat. I'm like that, that gives you, I have a brief sense of things being unreal, you start looking around and going, wait a minute, am I dreaming or is this really happening? And it is really happening. And this is the world we're living in. And like I said, because this guy's in an FBI hat, he will never, ever be seen again. This story will drop off the face of the earth so fucking fast. I don't know what they're going to put in the news tomorrow. Stock market crash, something else, stock market skyrockets. I don't know what it's going to be. Russia found a gigantic amount of oil in the Antarctic, but everybody kind of knew it was already there anyway. But they made the announcement that they found a huge reserve of oil in the Antarctic. So, does that help oil prices? Does that not help oil prices? Everyone's still thinking about, their domestic woes largely, but different people's domestic woes are different indeed, right? So, whereas was this the one? There's a whole, not that one. This one got a lot less. Well, I have to throw it up there anyway. Throw it up there anyway. When I'm telling you that you're going to live in this crazy, low trust, high violence environment, and that this is going to become more common because things are not working, and then you have these crazy people running around with access to firearms. It's going to be very, very, very bad. Story was from came out of the Daily Mail in the United Kingdom, but I grabbed it June. What is it? 7th of June, 22. It's a couple of weeks ago. That I don't know why it showed up. So it only showed up in my Twitter recently, but this was I think in Ohio. Some black teenager just shot at a group of white people, screaming, "I don't like white people!" And you can see he's holding a gun, and he's just shooting at random white people. That is, white people find that very unnerving. Black people say, "Oh, it's just Tuesday in the ghetto." And you're probably thinking, well, it's not going to happen around me because I don't live in Ohio. But there are going to be crazy people doing bad things at random in a lot of different places. And that's going to affect people, whether it affects you directly or it doesn't affect you directly. It's going to affect how people think and how they act. And where's the not that one. Hold on. Yeah, this one. This was another one out of Chicago. But similar theme. The things not so safe out of doors. People losing their sense of safety, and not the people at the bottom end of the economic spectrum, but people on the upper end of the economic spectrum losing their sense of safety. Apparently, if you live on Lakeshore Drive or by the lake in Lake Michigan, that's the I guess it's beachfront property. It's the higher income level of Illinoisans, or what do you call them? People that live in Illinois. But there was a shooting in the center of Chicago. Yawn, no big deal. But it said after crowds and shooting near 31st Street Beach, some South Lakefront residents want more aggressive action from police. And then there's a quote from a local that says, "Most of us live near the lake because we want to walk on the lake. We can't do that anymore. It's not fun anymore." Well, if it's not fun to be rich and have a lake house anymore, can you imagine how much it sucks to be us, those of us who are not lake house people? Can you imagine how not fun it is? No, they can't. They can only think that, hey, I spent a lot of money on this lake house, and why can't I walk my fucking Bichon Frise around the fucking lake, and feed it little treats. The rest of the world, I noted that who was it? Well, Sri Lanka's got one day of fuel left. You get the protest in the Netherlands with the farmers blocking the roads and spraying manure all over the Virgil Doc, Purple Heart, welcome to the show. Spraying manure in government buildings. And our friends in Libya, where are they at? They're a little bit out of control. A little bit, yeah. They went and expressed their unhappiness a couple days ago. But when the money stops working, people start behaving in ways that they don't normally behave. And that's more and more extreme. And not only are you going to see that in social media, it's going to pop up closer to you sooner or later, because you don't know where sort of the weakest and most likely to snap people really are, right? This parade shooter in outside of Chicago, that was apparently a very wealthy area. If you looked at the kid's social media, he did a bunch of complex videos, way more sophisticated than what I'm doing here. But he had access to some tech, and he would do music videos with his imagery and different things. But he's ready to snap, right? I mean, you could argue, again, that the FBI pushed him, and they probably did, or encouraged him to express his unhappiness physically. but this is from the 1st of July. The Libyans burned down the parliament building in, I guess, in Tripoli, their capital city. It's not the smart thing to do. It's not really the building's fault. The building didn't do anything, but they're frustrated and they want to do something. They end up, as a display of power, they go to a symbol of power, which is the parliament building, and they want to flex. They want to say that they're not going to take it anymore. They're going to behave in any way they see fit because Libya is experiencing hyperinflation, the government's collapsed, the slave markets. We all know about that, right? Because the Libyan lira, backed by gold, that ended when they pulled Gaddafi out of the sewer pipe, raped him and shot him and raped him, or whatever they did. In what order maybe they took turns, first shooting then raping. But that's no challenge to the petrodollar from any nation state. That's for sure, right? But there is a continual challenge from a non-nation state, and that, of course, as we all know, is our friends at Bitcoin, right? There's Uganda, the Uganda finding $12 trillion worth of gold story. It's got some legs. People are tweeting and retweeting it, and now, of course, it's being memed. A lot of people are saying, "Hey, Uganda, watch out! There's going to be terror cells popping up in your town, in your country, anytime soon." And guess what? America is going to have to swoop in and help you fight those terrorists. So the meme, of course, eagle with the American flag on it. Uganda discovers gold deposits worth 12 trillion. That's trillion with a T. United States dollars, and the eagle is on his way to save Uganda from terrorism. And it doesn't matter how many innocent Ugandans need to die. We will bring democracy to Uganda, and probably the political instability in a war. That'll be created because terrorists are suddenly swarming into Uganda. I'm sure we can go there and we'll reassure the puppet Uganda government that we put in there that gold, that $12 trillion of gold would be safer in Fort Knox. You know what I mean? That they just pull it out of the ground, put it on some planes, and we'll fly it over to Tennessee, and it'll be safe there, boys. Don't you worry. We'll hold it for you while we sell you all sorts of shit you could not possibly need or even possibly use. Uganda's about to be like the African superpower militarily. You know what I mean? As we open up the toy box of everything in God's creation to give them weapons wise, and that's going to be a disaster on top of disasters. Years ago, I talked to this guy. He was a New Jersey state cop. Was he state cop? No, he was a local cop. But he was in the Army, and he used to train different people. And he did a training class. He was talking about training different groups that he had trained for the Army in different places. And when he was in Bosnia or Serbia, wherever he was in that conflict, and they were training they're training the Bosnians in like the basic pistol. You know what I mean? And so through the translator, he would demonstrate and he would tell them what to do, and then they would load the magazines, and then they would do the course of fire and whatever. And they did okay. They did pretty good because they're familiar with that sort of thing. They're familiar with guns and from back in the day. But he went at the very beginning of the Africa Command, and there is an Africa Command that was set up in the mid '90s or the late '90s. He went to train some dudes in Africa, and they gave them the M92 Beretta pistols, and he said, here, load the magazines, and they just took the magazine. What do I have? They just took the pistol magazine. This is not a real pistol magazine, and they just dropped bullets on top of it, and then they all fell on the ground. Like that was their level. Like they didn't understand how to load magazines. And this was like some African military. I don't remember which one it was. But That's the level of dudes you're dealing with in Africa. $12 trillion in gold means America is going to be super interested in what happens in Uganda. And, we're going to be trying to muscle everybody else out of the way. And whatever Uganda wants, we're going to give them. Whether or not, they blow themselves up with it or half their country dies because, they decide to smoke cigarettes while fueling up the jet planes or whatever. As long as, most of the people that are going to profit from that are not going to be in Uganda, so it's all going to be low-level people that died. So, a lot of this is changing. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff. However, here in the heart of the empire, there's an all-new financial scheme. A great, I mentioned this. I think I mentioned this. Once the fact that every politically sensitive Dindu shooting is going to end up in a riot, or the fact once the money stops working and people just start taking stuff, they're going to you're not going to gain access to stores that have food unless you're scanning your smartphone. Then you can take whatever you want and leave. You don't have to pay for it, but you're going to be debted, right? There's going to be a debt on your Federal Reserve private account or whatever they call it, and you will be in debt, and you will have to work off that debt. And you will pass that debt on to your children as a Calvinist work ethic thing. This is from 2nd of July of this year. Banks are looking at, certain banks, mortgages of 50 years that they can then pass on to their children under plans being considered to help them buy bigger homes. So do you want to stop being a renter? Do you want to move out of that cardboard box you're living in the middle of the public park? Would you actually like to live indoors? Afraid that you won't live long enough to pay the mortgage because the mortgage is too high or the interest rate is too high? Not to worry. You can pass on that debt to your children. Last week I was talking about the legislature, the California state legislature, turned down an amendment saying that slavery is illegal in California. They're gonna create debt slavery one way or another, and they're gonna impose it or trick or deceive people into doing it as much as they can everywhere. And there's nobody's gonna stop this. Nobody's gonna stop it, and no one's gonna stop it. Right? Here's our buddy Jerome Powell, chairman of the Federal Reserve, saying amazingly exactly what I was saying or have been saying for a couple of years now. Here's my man, Jerome. He's not my man. The only man he is, he's the Rothschilds man, that's for certain. He is certainly top guy for that special banking city in the middle of London. So, story from somebody insider on what date? It said 1 hour ago. This is from a couple of days ago, though. Federal Chairman Powell warned that sky-high inflation could turn permanent. Sky-high inflation could turn permanent. There'll be economic collapse before that, but all those crazy charts, with the fucking Weimar this and Weimar that, and people thinking, hey James, you're a crazy fucking extremist. Well, apparently, the chairman of the Federal Reserve thinks that that crazy motherfucker who lives in a one-bedroom apartment in New Jersey could be right. He just might be right. And I think it's pretty fair to say that I probably am right because I'm not extrapolating that much. Super high inflation, economic collapse, whatever, recession, all of that's coming. Or if it's not already here, certainly recession as they market like two business quarters of negative growth, blah, 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 blah. That kind of shit. That is almost certainly here. And anybody with two brain cells knew it was coming. So, but there's us. There's us crazy, toxic Bitcoin people. You know what I mean? And trying to keep our sense of humor, trying to think longer term, trying to be lower time preference, as they say. It's the young couple in the field. I don't even know what this meme is called. What is this meme called? The prince and the princess? I don't even know. But right, so the top left, there's a guy with the laser eyes, and it, this was a Bitcoin thing like 15 months ago. Laser eyes until $100,000 Bitcoin, and then the princess girl says you'll take them off if there's a bear market, right? Meaning if the price of Bitcoin crashes. And then he just puts on his McDonald's hat and keeps with the laser eyes because we're not giving up. The dollar exchange rate for one Bitcoin doesn't change our view of Bitcoin. It doesn't change our commitment to believing that Bitcoin is going to replace the U.S. dollar as the global reserve currency. Now, we could be wrong. It's entirely possible that we're wrong. It's possible something else could happen. Some political figure could come up, some strong man, some Latin strong man, a guy I like to call Rice and Beans Hitler. You know what I mean? If Rice and Beans Hitler, seizes power, and he fucking shakes Congress, oh, you bunch of fucking sewer rats, I'm Rice and Beans Hitler, and which is, it's cool to be Rice and Beans Hitler because he puts the swastika on a tortilla with using pico de gallo. Very spicy dude. Very, very spicy dude. But Rice and Beans Hitler is going to come and save America from whatever itself and turn us back into the fascist super state, the white Wakanda that we were always meant to be, or whatever. I don't know, whatever you think is going to happen. But I'm not thinking Rice and Beans Hitler is like a strong likelihood. I'm really not. I know a lot of people here, they've essentially put their heart on Rice and Beans Hitler, but I'm going to suggest to you that is of the probabilities out there, that is a pretty low probability. Like Rice and Beans Hitler, not quite what you think. However, there are other countries. There are Spanish-speaking countries that think like I think. This is from June 21st. Wow, this is all like old news. Everything I'm putting up is old news. No wonder I get such crummy ratings. No, I don't get crummy ratings. The last show got like 40 views and like 8 likes. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited by that feedback. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Because I only look at it like right before I do like a copy pasta thing in the description before this show, because I don't want to hear myself that much. It's really, really very annoying and uncomfortable. From 21 June of this year, 2022, the newly elected Colombian president supports Bitcoin. It removes power from the banks. So does that mean Colombia is going to try to legalize Bitcoin as legal tender? I don't know. But you got the newly elected president of Colombia is thinking, hey, you know what? Let's do something other than sell cocoa leaves. Let's do something other than, sell cocaine to Western Europe and America. So that's like, how many countries now? It's not officially there yet. But around the world, a lot of people, whether you see it or you don't see it, and oftentimes you're not going to see it, are coming around to my way of thinking. They're not really thinking, oh boy, I need to move to Uganda and buy myself a sturdy shovel. You know what I mean? They're not, or open up a food truck, for curried goat. And that would actually be a good idea if you moved to Uganda and sold curried goat and rice, you would make a fucking fortune. You know what I mean? all those guys that have to dig for gold, you know what I mean? They got to eat. You know, so like line this truck with like all the people like along the highways in America that sell the Spanish people sell fruit like mangoes. They sell mangoes and like a little net bag of something. I don't know. That's something like little round things. I don't think they're figs, but they sell chopped up mango. I see them a lot underneath the George Washington Bridge. Some kind of Central Americans, you know, hoping that the people going that's waiting in line to go up the ramp to get on the George Washington Bridge buy some chopped up mango from them. And then there's dudes that sell water and stuff. They have a cooler full of ice water, just standard half-liter bottles of water, and they sell them. And the police bust them every now and then, but mostly they leave them alone. So you go to Uganda, and I'm thinking curried goat is probably they would like that. You get a curried goat food truck, and dude, you'll be rolling money. You'll be fucking rolling money. You'll sell out every day. Okay, what's up on the screen? What's up on the screen? The former, not the current, but the former Prime Minister of Thailand, the land of smiles, was doing an interview on television, and over his shoulder, you see a dark rectangular object surrounded in red, and that is what is called a block clock. That shows you the current price of Bitcoin and counts down how soon until the next halving event. So the former Prime Minister of Thailand is a Bitcoiner, because you don't buy one of those fucking clocks unless you're seriously deep, balls deep into Bitcoin. So world leaders doing the Bitcoin thing, and you were sitting there wondering when Rice and Beans Hitler is going to come and save you. And I'm suggesting to you, rethink Rice and Beans Hitler. You know, and that's my suggestion every week. And you say, well, who gives a fuck about the fucking coke dealers in Colombia or the lady boy prostitutes of fucking Thailand? I don't want to hear about either one of those groups. I am an American. This is the 4th of July show, and you should say something American, James. Something super American. Okay, I'll say something super American. Don't think I won't say something super American. And this is really, maybe it's probably the biggest thing, bigger than it initially appears. Bigger than it initially appears. There's a company in Florida, called Duke Energy, which sounds like they support the monarchy, but I don't think they actually support monarchy. I think the name Duke just means Duke. What's up with Duke Energy, bro? What's up with Duke Energy? Duke Energy, the second largest electric power company in the United States. Duke Energy is studying the benefits of Bitcoin mining and how to integrate it into the grid. Lead rates and regulatory strategy analyst at Duke Energy, Jay Orkney 5, sees a role for Bitcoin. So much so, he's leading a study of demand response at Duke that incorporates Bitcoin into their models and grid. Listen to the guy talk about it. So, wait a minute, what the fuck does that mean? Okay, what that means is this. The second largest electrical company in the United States is going to mine Bitcoin. Why would they mine Bitcoin? Electric companies have the electrical grid, right? Sometimes they make it too much power, sometimes not enough power. Big heat wave, everybody's got their AC on, blasting all the time. Too much, right? Too much demand. There can be blackouts, there can be brownouts, et cetera, right? Other times, you know, they're shooting the volts through the fucking lines everywhere, but nobody wants juice because it's a cool autumn evening or cool autumn days, you know, and it's still light enough out so you're not turning on light. Like, so balancing the grid, balancing the demand, okay, making sure that transformers don't overheat and explode, that sort of thing. Duke Energy, the second largest electrical generation company in the United States, is looking at mining Bitcoin. So they'll set up a Bitcoin mining farm, and when they're producing too much juice, they'll just mine Bitcoin. And when the demand from households, right, and businesses, I guess, increase, they'll just shut off the Bitcoin mining and they'll let the power flow to the paying customers. So they'll either make money mining Bitcoin or they will make money selling you electricity. So you got Marathon Digital, you got Exxon, you got the fucking people in fucking Dubai, all the oil companies mining Bitcoin because it helps them cut their tax bill and make them look green because they have less greenhouse emissions. And now you have Bitcoin solving a problem for electricity providers, okay, in helping them balance their grid. So you want to stick with your gas guzzling car or your diesel, whatever. You know what? Whatever's coming out of the end of that pump, somebody's mining Bitcoin with the flare gas. You say, fuck that shit. I want to be an Elon Musk electric car guy. I want to be Mr. Green fucking energy. Well, guess what? You got to plug that car into somewhere, and that the electricity is going to come from Duke Energy, and they're going to be mining Bitcoin. When I tell you that Bitcoin solves problems for groups of people that we don't even understand yet, we don't know what their problems are because you don't know industry specific things. You don't fully understand it, but people in certain industries are going, we have this problem, we have that problem, and they're looking for a solution. And you have right now mostly energy companies solving their problems using this Bitcoin thing. So Bitcoin's not going anywhere. And if Bitcoin price goes to whatever, I don't know if I showed this last week. I don't know if I showed it or I didn't show it. I don't think I did. But let's show it again just in case. Let's show it just in case I fucking missed it because I can't remember what I said last week. Or I can't remember everything I said last week. But speaking of Marathon Digital, the first oil company to mine Bitcoin using flare gas. This story is from June 20th of 2022. Marathon Digital announced that it only cost them $6,200 to mine a Bitcoin, right? So to mine one Bitcoin costs Marathon Digital $6,200. Well, the current price of Bitcoin is $20,000. So Marathon Digital making $14,000 per Bitcoin, and I think they're holding like 8,000 of them, like some fairly large amount. So the price of Bitcoin could drop all the way down to $6,200. And if it does, it'd be a miracle. I would love it. But not only are they making a lot of money, remember, this is solving what do we do with this excess flare gas and how do we look green and reduce our carbon footprint? So the price of Bitcoin can vary wildly. It can plummet to God knows whatever level the Bank of International Settlements wants it to plummet to, but it's not going anywhere. Okay, big businesses with long-term interests are using this technology, like I said, to solve problems for themselves. For me, it solves the problem of keeping the government from inflating away my savings. I drive boxes here and there. Like last week was total shit. I think I made like fucking $800 the whole week. The weekend's on Friday. Saturday was a disaster day because we had 2 full starts. But I ended up driving to Virginia on Saturday, and then I ended up driving to Virginia on Sunday. So I made almost as much money on the first 2 days of this week as I made in the entire 6 of last week. So my income's still going up and down. But when I do have money saved, that I don't want to leave in the bank, that I don't need for expenses, I don't need for my car or whatever, I put it into Bitcoin, because it keeps my money or my labor, the value of my labor, from being inflated away by Jerome Powell and his buddies down in Washington, D.C. Okay. And that puts my interests in line with Marathon Digital's interest, with Duke Energy's interest, the president of Colombia, the former prime minister of Thailand, El Salvador just bought again. Michael Saylor just bought again. All of you going, it's a scam, it's a this and that. Listen, the problems right now, or there's a lot of problems with regulation. That's absolutely true. And that guy, Michael Saylor, probably one of the smartest, most articulate people involved in Bitcoin, has said until the government comes in and regulates all these other things, all the altcoins, the shitcoins, the Ethereums, the everything else. Bitcoin will be considered a commodity. It already is by the SEC. They consider Bitcoin a commodity like oil or gold or whatever, a digital commodity. Those other things are going to become like stocks, right? These other altcoins, Wall Street as you know it, if it drops 80 or 90%, they just may kill it at the bottom, right? Maybe it'll take a little longer than the end of this year, but maybe not. They raised interest rates. The S&P went up more than 2.5% on that day. That's happened twice before in history. Both times the stock market declined 80 to 90%. So if the stock market declines 80 to 90%, gas prices stay high, unemployment, all the rest, mass shootings, people afraid to leave their homes. Nobody wants to walk outside the lake house with the fucking Bichon Frise, right? All of that's going on. Traditional Wall Street could die. Oh, it's dead. To traditional, oh, thank God, and the communist Antifa will be cheering, yay! Wall Street is dead. Everyone will be happy about it, but it's just going to respawn as crypto Wall Street, as crypto street, or whatever the fuck it is. And it will be more regulated. It'll be regulated like Wall Street is today, but the same exact criminals will be behind it. And it won't be Monday to Friday, 9 to 4:30, right? Or 9 to 4, you know what I mean? With an hour for lunch. It won't be that anymore. It'll be like Bitcoin. It'll be 24/7, 365, nonstop scamming and God knows what the fuck all. That's going to happen. I don't know when. I mean, it may happen in the next year or two. It may take a little longer, but that's what I think is likely to happen. Traditional Wall Street dies. A bunch of people celebrate prematurely, but it only puts crypto Wall Street in constant 24-hour gambling with your fucking, with the money you need to feed your family. There's a guy, a stand-up comedian, a guy named Stavros Halkias. He does a lot of porn-oriented stuff because he's a millennial guy. But they showed him do a bit on YouTube. It was fucking brilliant. I don't know if I posted it on Twitter, but he said everything in tech. He said, not as good as he is, but he says everyone in tech is like this. He says, what if we take a thing that exists and don't pay people? He says, what if cab drivers can't go see a doctor? He says we're going to do green energy, right? We're going to do renewable energy by making homeless people run on hamster wheels, right? And the audience is just lapping it up. They're just eating it up. He says, what if we gamify having money to feed your family? That's what the future is going to look like with this crypto Wall Street, this digital 24/7 Wall Street. That's what it's going to look like. You know what I mean? Everywhere, all the time. I don't know if it's coming that soon because I don't think that I don't think they're really ready for it. I don't think they're prepped for it. But if they slaughter the traditional stock market, if that happens, and it certainly seems to be happening, don't be real surprised that people everybody's on their cell phone all the time anyway. They're taking half their fucking Amazon wage for the day and putting it on fucking God knows what crypto.com, hoping to hit it big, and then being a degenerate gambler, nonstop in debt. People who are more responsible will get their 50-year mortgage and hand it off to their children. Here, Janie, here, Joey, you be responsible now and pay off the mortgage. Mom and I are going to go fucking croak in Florida. We're going to go get eaten by a fucking alligator or something like that. And live. We're gonna warm ourselves outside the fucking Bitcoin mining farm that Duke Energy has in Florida. But that's really what a lot of this is going to look like, man. This is definitely going to happen. And because you have a lot of people here, this one. When did I see this? This is another one that's Christ. All this stuff from last June. I am like so out of touch, so completely, deeply out of touch. You would think I would be like super on the money, but whatever. I can't. I was wrong. The parade shooter. I thought the parade shooter was a small hat. Turns out he's probably not a small hat, but a lot of people in that area are from that background and. They like to shoot up big groups. Although these are like those those groups locked inside a building. But it's a reasonably good shot. Who's this from? John Day. Yeah, I don't know who John Day is, but he's someone who has never worked a fucking day in his life. He tweets, inflation is great for poor people. They don't have any money. They have no money to be debased. 50% of Americans have zero net worth. Inflation, he misspelled hurts, hurts corporations like Apple the most. They have billions in cash, which is losing 8% a year. How can inflation hurt me? I have no cash. So John Day doesn't really understand Bitcoin or inflation or economics in any way, but a lot of people are thinking that, well, you don't have anything to lose, so, your life is great, but you can become homeless and starving and live in the fucking park. And you're not gonna like that. You're really, really, really not gonna like that. So you're gonna get more and more desperate to do crazier and crazier things. I would suggest whatever wealth you do have, you find a way to save. And listen to me, buying a food truck in Uganda is a better strategy than buying gold at home. You know what I mean? Because as they pull that $12 trillion worth of gold out of the ground in Uganda, the Chinese are not going to be able to buy it all. The Indians are not going to be able to buy it all. They're just not. You know what I mean? They're too broke from buying all that fucking Russian oil at $120 a barrel. So, what's going to drive the world? Worsening economic conditions for everyone. Sky high inflation, permanent. Thanks, Jerome. Thanks for telling us what we already knew. And then you're going to have, FBI shooters, literally FBI shooters, fucking. And it doesn't even matter if the next lunatic is just some crazy black kid who hates white people, light-skinned black kid who's like not light-skinned enough to get a white girlfriend and not black enough to chill with the black dudes. Right, so he's got fucking doesn't feel like he belongs anywhere, so he decides he's going to go shoot white people, or it's the bug man, going on the paid vacation from the fucking FBI to fucking wherever that was. I don't know. It was Chesapeake Bay, but it was Lake Michigan or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Everyone's going to think that all the fucking time. Also, our friends from Patriot Front, the gayest of the gay, they had to extend Pride Month one more day by doing the gayest march through fucking Boston you could do. Like, it's not even, this is, normies have never heard of Patriot Front. You know what I mean? They don't know who the fuck that is. That's Patriot Front is like Al Qaeda for Twitter freaks. You know what I mean? Other dorks. It's Al Qaeda for fucking incels. It really is. But they give you a little hat. You get your FBI hat and you go. You want to go to a boat ride? You want to go to the zoo? I don't know. The FBI will take you wherever, right? You know what I mean? Once you're their guy, you're their guy. And then I don't know how they flip the switch like 18 months. Maybe they know that like these friendless incels, when the government comes and gives them a hug, they feel important for a little while, and then the government pulls their support away, and they go into like a tailspin and eventually do something like was done today in Highland Park, Illinois. I don't know, but they may know. They may know that that's the psychology of these people. Like finally I have a friend. Who knows? Maybe I'll get a government issued girlfriend. And then the FBI moves out of their life, and that sense of loss or betrayal or whatever really flips the switch in them to where they think, okay, time to murder fucking 50 strangers. For this guy, it was only I think like 6 people, but yeah, at the end of the day, you have to be an absolute fanatic. You have to be a psycho, because the level of insane distractions is just going to be nonstop, and it's going to go faster, 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 faster. If you don't have a clear idea of how you're going to get through this, you're gonna you're gonna get caught up in something that's over your head, and I would rather not see people, that happen to, whatever. The number of people that I can point to the fucking lifeboats, I will point to the lifeboats. Whether or not you get in a lifeboat or you go down with the Titanic, that part I can't help you with, but I can certainly go lifeboat here, like there, go sit inside, put the little, put the vest on and row for the whatever, for your life. There's not much else I can do. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff, like I said, I'm not really, I joke that it's psychic, that it's right wing fan fiction, or the news that comes across your Twitter feed, but it's going to look that way more and more and more. It's going to go beyond, it's going to really blur the reality between this and that. Like Paul, he's in the chat. He's talking about, he wrote a novel where the administrators of the Gulag system in the Soviet Union were really vampires. You know what I mean? That's actually not a bad idea. That's actually a pretty good science fiction-y idea, that the cost in human life, the cost of human blood was so enormous that there must be a supernatural power. Oh yeah, that's the other thing that made me think about. I don't have the screenshot, but the Chabad Lubavitch, or let's call them the Chabad lunatics, right? The sect of Judaism that Ivanka Trump married Jared Kushner, he was followed the Rebbe from Brooklyn, who died and they thought was going to come back to life. But they're Kabbalah Jews, right? They're into the Kabbalah and the secret meaning of this and that and the other. And they called it, there was something that I can't remember what they called it. Something like a name. It was not Amalek. It was light, but it meant Amalek. Judas Fly Chai, base Persian Michelin guy. Blessings, sir. Thank you for stopping by from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Hopefully, it's not too hot out there. But the Chabad Lubavitch sect believes that there's the Kabbalah teaches them there's something that they call the Klippensteins. I don't know if I completely fucked it up. I should have screenshotted it. But there are impure souls that the Jews, of course, have pure souls, and then there are the impure souls. And then in the afterlife or in the spiritual world and spiritual realm, I think you were thinking of Erev Ra. I don't know. No, that's not the word. It was like there was some word from the Kabbalah. I don't know what it was. It was like, I don't know what it was. I tweeted about it and I forgot to grab it. But the impure souls are at war with the pure souls and God. So it is the duty of the Chabad Lubavitch Jews who believe that if you weaken the impure souls here in the physical world, you weaken their power in the spiritual world. So, Klipot, yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah, the Klipot, whatever they're called, Klipot. That's it. That's the one. Thank you. This is the benefit of having, a based Persian Michelin guy in the chat. Gives me the word I need when I need it. Thank you, sir. Yeah. So to weaken the Klipot in the physical world weakens them in the spiritual realm, and this, of course, will help God or good defeat evil throughout the universe. So, and the part of the problem why I always the beef I had with a lot of Christians, or I would sort of really have to bite my tongue, is they would look at the state of the world and they would see, they'd see the state of the world and say, well, we're really in a spiritual battle. It's a spiritual battle of the angels versus the demons or whatever. And they'd say it's all in God's hands. It's all, the Christian attitude was to do nothing. You know what I mean? To not actively participate in any way. They didn't think like, well, as a Christian, I have an active role in helping the armies of light defeat the demons of darkness. Like they don't really think that. They don't. At least I'm not aware of any school of Christianity like that. So they go, it's all in God's hand, and I just have to relax. God is in charge. Our friends, the Chabad lunatics, taking a much more active role. They want to help their perception of Hashem to defeat the impure souls. So what they do is people that they deem impure here on this earth, they do everything they can to weaken them. So, if white people are Amalek, if white people are Klipot, or Klipot, whatever you want to call them, let's call them Klipot. If white people are Klipot, any way you can weaken them and damage them is actually a good thing. So this is, of course, the justification for all of their bad acts. Their bad acts aren't really bad acts. They're really fighting a spiritual war. You know what I mean? So making you homeless, paying you less than you deserve, whatever fucking, making you live in a fucking a building full of fucking health violations. That's all weakening Klipot. You know what I mean? They're not really, they're not committing any sin. They're weakening Klipot. And they look at their direct actions in this earth as having a spiritual dimension, but one that they actively participate in. Whereas the Christians that I've seen online, a few that I've talked to, their attitude is, oh, well, it's all in God's hands and it's all part of a super intricate master plan that I can't possibly figure out. Whether it is or it isn't, I prefer to take a more active role. For me personally, I feel like I have to do something. I have a need to feel useful. And for whatever reason that is. And for me, my use is get rid of Zog bucks and hold Bitcoin and convince others to do the same. If I can, my act of war, spiritual war on this earth, right, is to take earthly Jew bucks, Zog bucks, and get rid of them and hold Bitcoin instead. And if I can convince others, whether you're a Christian or you're not a Christian, I don't care about any of that stuff. Everybody knows that. I don't give a fuck about any of that. That I can convince you to stop using Zog bucks and start using something else. That's my war against that's my war against evil. Okay, that's my war against my actions here on earth, which whatever, will it echo in eternity? I don't know if it'll echo in eternity or not, but that's what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? That's what I do here. That's why I picked the stories I picked. People go, oh, Bitcoin's going to zero. It's doing this. No, it's not. It's not. It's whether you fully understand the technology or you don't understand it. Smarter people than you are using it for long-term problem solving, and that's not going away. So you would again, I think it would be to your benefit to get to align your interests with smart, low time preference people who are in positions of some power, like the second largest fucking electrical generation utility in the United States. That's no small thing, running out of energy. Sri Lanka has 1 day's worth of fucking fuel left, and then there's going to be riots all over the place. How does anything happen? The Dutch farmers that everybody's laughing, oh, they're spraying manure over they're taking their tractors and spraying manure on the government buildings in the Netherlands. People think, haha, that's funny, but their farms are being shut down by government action because nitrogen depletion or some bullshit fucking ESG nonsense, and they're literally telling people you can't farm anymore. You can't produce food, and you're not allowed to make your living because you're going to burn the planet. And listen, these Dutch farmers know it's all fucking bullshit. Everybody knows that's bullshit. These fucking lunatics will drive shit into the fucking ground. And, all this pushback, I mean, it's nice to see, it's, you sort of cheer, you like, or you retweet or whatever, but, what can you do to make that happen faster? What can you do that's maybe a bigger deal than what they're doing? Because a lot of these protests are not going to go anywhere. It won't last a long time. I mean, maybe the Netherlands it will. It's a small country. I'm not super familiar with them other than fucking listen. Dutch people with a fucking what did they go with wooden shoes? They stick their finger in the fucking dike. Well, I don't know what the tulips. You know what I mean? That's like the three things I know about fucking Holland. Windmills, tulips, windmills, Don Quixote. Like that's it. I'm done with I'm done with the Netherlands at this point. I'm straight out of Netherlands stuff. But can they move their government one way or another? I hope so. You know what I mean? That would be great if they could. But the most effective way to push back is literally build entire fucking systems that they don't control and they can't stop. Because the longer you're doing their thing, the longer they can say, we're going to make you homeless and unemployed, the more power they have over you, and you don't want to be in that position. Like it's just not smart. Judas Fly Chai in the chat. Keep in mind, Judaism teaches all humans, including Gentiles, are made in the image of Hashem. That depends. I'm guessing there's some legalistic, there's some fine print to that, Mr. Fly Chai. Klipa literally means shell. We have to remove the shell to get the fruit. What are we, coconuts? Are we coconuts that does Judaism just fucking, does Judaism think that human beings are coconuts with a hard shell and you crack that and then you take the tasty, and then we're all full of coconut water? I'm not full of coconut water. I'm full of fucking Romanian white wine, fucking coconut water. What would be the point of doing a show with fucking coconut water? But seriously, listen, these Chabad fucking crazies justify all of their bad acts by, we're fighting a spiritual war. And Christians, they may have a similar worldview, but they don't think that I have to take an active role here on this earth. Spiritual dimension, whatever. Like I said, I'm not going there. I want to win here on this earth. What does that look like? What does that look like? What does that look like? And I think that's part of the reason why I think Paul's novel is such a great. It's a compelling idea because that sort of thinking is in people's minds anyway, and a fictionalized version of events with the play of the forces of good and evil could sell pretty big. Relatively big for the number of people that still read and that would read that sort of thing. Responses like that are why we don't teach outsiders. Listen, I that's great. Judas Sly Chai, you imagine that anyone wants to learn anything that these guys have to say? Like nobody does. You know what I mean? The reason why you don't teach outsiders is because if outsiders do what you taught, when the Talmud says even the best of the goyim should be killed, that's I can see why you don't want to teach that, because the goyim hear that they're not going to react too well. You know what I mean? They're not going to react too well. Right? And what is it? The Jews teach that Jesus was a fraud and his mother was a whore, right? You're not going to teach the Christians. You're not going to say, hey, by the way, Christians, here's what we think of your God. We think he's a fraud and his mother was a whore. You're not going to say that out loud, right? Because the goyim hear that, and then you're going to have to run for your life, So, all your teachings are secret for a reason. It's not because they're so great. It's because if people knew what they really were, you would have very few places to go on, where you would be welcomed. That is the reason. You know what I mean? And the historicity of your claims, as we know. Let's say the historicity is not exactly 100%. Not exactly 100%, Mr. Fly Chai. However, we are not here to debate that in any meaningful sense. Whether you think it's a spiritual war, whether you think it's better technology, a better monetary technology, Bitcoin versus paper dollars issued by a private bank. I don't. Through which lens you view it is unimportant to me. You know, I I have a worldview that is. I'm forced right now to work for green pieces of paper that are losing their value, and there's nothing I can do about it. Right? That's what I'm forced to do. But I look around, at possible alternatives, possible changes to this, and I see things like Exxon mining Bitcoin, Duke Energy. They're studying it right now, but trust me, studying it is the pre-announcement for them to say maybe in 2023, whatever. Once they've done with their studies and ran it past their legal team and gone through their processes, we need to balance our grid. We need to balance the electrical grid because sometimes we make too much juice, sometimes not enough. And this Bitcoin thing is just a solution to suck up excess electricity when we have too much of it, and then we can shut it off without any customers getting upset, and without interfering in any way when we need to shut it off. And it makes money for us. Trust me, they're going to do this. It solves an engineering problem for them, and it makes them fucking money. They're going to do this the same way Exxon's going to do it, the same way Marathon Digital has been doing it. This isn't going away. Jimmy on fire tonight. Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm more on fire. It's 4th of July. I got to be on fire. Look, I got look at the snake shirt. Look at this. Look at this, Judas Flychai. That's pretty pugnacious, right? It's a pretty pugnacious fucking shirt. Yeah, this is what we're doing here. You know what I mean? And I don't know how many times you have to hear it, but I'll keep saying it until nobody shows up or until everyone goes, holy shit, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. So me, the former Prime Minister of Thailand, the new president of Colombia, Duke Energy, a bunch of other people are thinking, yeah, there's a future in this Bitcoin thing. And you're probably going to want to grab some and hold it for yourself. Don't let other people hold it. Don't trust third parties with your money. And, as sky high inflation continues, as Jerome Powell has told us is likely to happen, that over the long run, it will benefit you. In the next 6 months, if you're looking to retire and go to the Bahamas, then that's probably not for you. But long run, it's going to it's most certainly going to benefit you because it is considered even by the U.S. government a commodity, and commodities. If you want to look at any hyperinflationary environment, commodities always do well. Oil, gold, pork bellies, wheat, commodities. You may think, well, it's a digital commodity. I don't really understand it. You don't really understand a fucking grain of wheat either. You know what I mean? You don't understand why a pork belly is more important than a fucking pork chop. But, there's a huge market to fucking trade that shit, right? So, whatever your excuses are, I suggest, tiptoe a little bit, like, dip a toe in the water and go slowly if you must, but go, because it's not going anywhere. Like I said, Marathon Digital, their cost per Bitcoin, $6,200. The price could plummet, could drop more than 50% from where it is right now. And Marathon Digital is still in this game. No one's getting out of Bitcoin. No, and I don't mean, I'm not talking about individuals. This is not, some fucking cult of personality. Oh, look, Elon Musk is good doing it. This guy's doing it. That guy's doing it. It has nothing to do with personalities or belief in a fucking strong man. I don't have a belief in, again, fucking rice and beans Hitler. Rice and beans Hitler. Oh, he puts the swastika on the fucking tortilla with pico de gallo. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's going to happen. You know what I mean? I believe fucking vampires run the fucking gulags before I believe that's going to fucking happen. The future is, and the dystopian future is happening now. 4th of July parade gets shot up. You got the thing in Akron, Ohio. That the police, what they fired, like 90 rounds at this Dindu. So fucking worthless Dindu, who they had chased once before, and then they chased him again. He bails out of the car, and they fucking, man, did they fucking light this kid up. his glizzy, his Glock 19. I didn't know they called them glizzies. Things I learned on Twitter. His glizzy had jammed, so he was running for it. They're trying to make a big deal out of it, but there's the protest is like 27 or 30 fucking dindus in Akron, Ohio. Without a nationwide fucking organization, without the B'nai B'rith, without the FBI behind it, without pickup trucks full of bricks being dropped off in strategic cities and organizers going out and finding those willing to commit violence. Without that, you ain't gonna. Nobody cares that the police fucking ventilated some dindu. Did they super ventilate them? Yeah, I guess they super ventilated them. But this is gonna happen. And our friend, let me show him one more time. Just one more. Oh, I forgot to show this. This is my worldview. This is maybe my favorite meme. This may be, in fact, my absolute favorite fucking meme of all the memes. This might be my absolute favorite. And really, can you blame me? It's from the greatest movie, or one of the greatest movies of all time, 1991 super hit. Goodfellas adapted for the Bitcoin era, right? Henry Hill, when after his Jewish girlfriend, he's going to defend the honor of his Jewish wife to be by beating the crap out of her neighbor. But instead of beating him with a small 38 caliber pistol, he's beating him with a Bitcoin mining machine. And those of us, you can also see he has laser eyes, right? So he's beating the guy. Who's he beating? It says crypto guys, vegetarians, communists, COVID believers, anti-guns, scammers, gold bugs, chair owners. We look like crazy psychopaths beating down the people that we need to beat down. And then dude in the background is a newcomer just showing up at Bitcoin Twitter wondering, what the fuck did I get myself into? But as you are, I once was, and as I am, you will someday be. That sounds pretty biblical. That sounds biblical. We're not supposed to be biblical today. We're supposed to be patriotic, right? It's supposed to be patriotic. Well, anyway. So, yeah, I'm watching the numbers spike up. I think we had like 6 or 7 people here at one point. But stream snipers to be certain. The internet hobos of fucking OV fucking Norvin and fucking probably Bateman. Looking for fucking content. The fucking content hobos. You know what I mean? We'll troll for fucking we'll troll for content, dude. Say something I can stream snipe you with. Fucking weak. Fucking you suck. But whatever. There's homeless people in my real life. I stopped at fucking Baltimore on my way to Virginia yesterday, and some kids with the fucking bottle of Windex and shit. I'm in a 2006 fucking Toyota with no air conditioning. It's 94 fucking degrees. He's standing in the street corner. He's like started walking over to me. I'm like, no, kid, get out of here. And he realizes like, yeah, no, this is the wrong fucking guy. And he goes to these other people with nicer cars who have their windows rolled up because they have fucking air conditioning. You know what I mean? So there's always going to be homeless dudes, whether they're on the internet or whether they're on a street corner in Baltimore, which I should not have stopped in Baltimore. I was looking for this place to be open. It wasn't open. Nothing was open in Baltimore. I can understand being closed today on a holiday, but these motherfuckers are closed in advance. They're like, yeah, we're closed at the 4th of July, from the 1st of July to probably like the 7th of July. Lazy fucking people. Fuck them. They end up eating at this. There's this terrible fucking chain of like a convenience store / gas stations called Royal Farms, which is don't just get gasoline there. Like I don't think I'm ever going to buy anything other than like a container of milk, like milk and donuts. That's the only thing that they sell that tastes like milk, like what it's supposed to taste like. Don't buy any of the food there. It's terrible. Fried chicken's terrible. Everything's terrible. Sandwiches are terrible. Burgers are terrible. Everything's terrible. Just get a container of milk, some donuts or whatever, and then get your gasoline and get back on the fucking road. Do not stop at Royal Farms. It's terrible. That is my 4th of July barbecue recommendation. Do not eat ever at at the chain of convenience stores called Royal Farms. Although I think they're just in the south. They're like in the east, the southeast. Because I've seen them in Maryland and in Virginia a little bit, a few times when I used to go down to Virginia Beach, passing the chicken farms, which thankfully I have not had to do in a while. Anyway, what did I cover? I think I covered everything. Duke Energy, Columbia, spree shooter being literally in a fucking FBI hat. Literally in a fucking FBI hat. How is that even possible? How is it even possible that this is not a fucking totally and completely right-wing alt fiction? Oh, that's not the one. How is this really a thing? This is really a thing. This is the guy, Bugman, spree shooter, FBI, paid informant, consultant, whatever. You would think that one of us sat down and just decided to make this up, but there he is. There he is. Who shot up the Independence Day parade in America's second largest city? Why? An agent of the FBI. So there will never be another there will never be another mass shooting ever anywhere that people will not instantly associate with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You know what I mean? One-on-one shooting, yeah, maybe it was a legit thing, but anybody shoots up anything big, 100%, everyone is going to think that the FBI did it. Feds everywhere. Feds all the time, everywhere, behind everything. A Fed behind every fucking tree. Every time a fucking sparrow falls off a branch, the FBI pushed them. That's the way it looks. And once that idea gets in people's heads, you're never going to get it out of their heads. And it's going to be true sometimes, but mostly it's going to be people losing their fucking minds. Mostly people losing their minds. Now, I didn't really lose my mind tonight, but it is it's midnight. We're coming up on July 5th, so we have to think about work tomorrow. We have to think about other things. Judas Fly Chai, Jonathan Pohl, the Lurkers, the Stream Snipers. Who else showed up? Just you two guys. But I'm sure there's other people. There will be people listening in reruns. Keep in mind, this Bitcoin thing is not going anywhere. And somebody else is going to find some weirdo use for this thing that everyone's sitting there going, but it's only $20,000. And when it flips to $100,000, you're going to go, well, why didn't you say something? Literally, motherfucker, I said something every week. And you're going to tell me 6 months from now or a year from now that I got lucky. And I'm not going to respond well. That's a stimulus I'm not going to respond well to. But with that, I will let all you guys. I will let you guys go. Thanks to everybody for showing up. Enjoy what's your holiday, what's left of your holiday. Do not drink and drive. And I'll talk to you guys next week.